There we go. What a turnover there from the Bishop to right here in a matter of minutes. Sorry to keep everybody waiting. Wanted to do a quick stream walking around. It's a nice day. I'm trying to get as many New York City live streams in as we can while the weather remains nice. A cute looking puppy right there. So there was a press conference yesterday from the dope, two dopes actually. We had one from de Blasio and one from Mr. Cuomo. And, I better get off of 7th Avenue here or we're going to lose the stream. Basically what they're talking about is, it started with these Hasidic neighborhoods closing some area codes, non-essential businesses, and schools. Now, again, we're coming back to this whole kind of notion where, why are they closing schools? Have school children been dying? And then they say, they're going to go home and hang out with their grandparents and get them sick. But do we know that that is happening? Is that scientifically known? It seems to me they open the schools, they're closing the schools. The real part of it that I focused in on is that they're saying that they're not, every option is on the table, as those type of guys always like to say, right? They're just closing the schools in these 9 zip codes where large Hasidic communities have been ignoring the mask mandates and the don't congregate mandates. And now they're saying they're going to close their schools. But the people that I saw interviewed on the news didn't look Hasidic. I saw they interviewed a Chinese guy and his little kid. Here's Batman with Trump. And don't little kids need discipline and kind of a routine? Or I don't know that much about little kids, but it seems like when you send them to school and then take them out the next day and, get them to do one thing and get them to another thing, it just seems bad. I think little kids probably benefit from having a schedule and knowing what's going on. And what is this? Matto app. What is that? That looks like a new business coming in. Huh. Maybe there are new businesses coming in. Most everything around here is closing. But yeah, that's what they were talking about, closing the schools. I'm planning to interview some New York City public school teachers who have some input on some of these mandates that are being placed on them. The overwhelming evidence that we've been seeing in terms of who's being affected by this, it seems that little kids are not that affected. Am I wrong? So closing the schools and all that doesn't seem like the best idea to me. These kind of abrupt starts. I didn't have all my stuff ready here. I want to make sure we're live. Routine is good, right, James? So they start taking it's child abuse, people are saying. Lynn Mack, I agree. These little kids don't know what's going on, and how you got to get into the groove. The teachers are kind of teaching them a lesson, and then you pull them out of school, you put them in front of Zoom. Here's a school-age kid not in school. It's just, it's the continued destruction of the city from the ground up. Retail space for rent. Cuomo, where does this end? We heard yesterday about how Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan was challenged by the state Supreme Court, but she's just finding ways around it, lawfare essentially. There's a response, that's 20-something days, then the court has to act on that, and then even if they, it's all this crap. So these governors and stuff, I don't know, is she a lawyer? She must have a ton of lawyers. I'm pretty sure Cuomo is a lawyer, right? Didn't he go to law school? So these guys know how to manipulate the laws. They're not necessarily upholding the law. They're not necessarily interested in justice. They're interested in using the law to gain power. It's the essence of lawfare. I've been talking about that on the new series on Patreon and Subscribestar, taking viewers deep inside Robert David Steele's anti-speech strategy. This is how people manipulate the law, whether it's, members of government, somebody attacking somebody with criminal charges like they are with General Flynn, or with civil action as they are with me. We got some kind of sale going on here with the counterfeit goods market. Oh yeah, these masks got to be sterile. That's great. And these guys sleeping right over here. It's society is deteriorating, and these little kids who aren't going to school, that doesn't seem like it's going to help. Even the hair extensions place is out of business. I didn't even know about that place, but it's out. It's very troubling. Winter is coming, out in the field says. Yes, that's true. And I mean, people are going to be even worse off in the winter. I mean, now you can kind of hang out outside, mosey around. I mean, if you don't have any place to live, yeah, what's going to happen to all the homeless people come winter time? The construction carries on. It's like construction and destruction simultaneous. So this guy's got his bicycle on the sidewalk. I entered the realm of bicycle culture here in New York City yesterday, trying out that bike for the first time. Everybody was instructing me to wear a helmet, which is good advice. It's pretty dangerous riding a bike around New York City. I kind of hate bike helmets, but I also would hate blunt trauma to the cranium. Definitely need a gimbal on that bike. I don't like the shaking around of the shot the whole time. And I haven't had an opportunity to go to a restaurant yet and try indoor dining. This looks new to me. Want Apothecary? Are stores opening now? That would be interesting if we can observe like businesses rising up during the pandemic. Here's the post office. Maybe they've got ballots in there. That looks pretty closed. Dig, temporary closed until further notice. A lot of closed stuff. This is skinny. What is this going to be? Probably apartments or a hotel. And then you got that. Who's moving into this stuff? Who's going to rent businesses in any of these buildings? Breslin. So I hope people had a chance to see the Bishop Larry Gators. We just did a really interesting show talking about the weaponization of black trauma and really societal trauma. Can people see that, is it a compass or a weather vane on top of the church with the chicken or the rooster or whatever that is? Let me see if we can get a better view of that. I guess I'm somewhat fascinated by the esoteric. There's all this weird symbology around New York City that we don't necessarily know what it's all about. Lawfare, yes, gaining political power. Well, it's just weaponizing the law in any way. So if the Supreme Court says, well, Gretchen Whitmer, you don't have the authority beyond 30 days to have these emergency powers. I mean, I think they understand there could be an emergency, right? Like EMP or a war or something breaks out and they want the governor to have maybe sort of unusual powers compared to what they usually have, but it's not an open invitation for those to extend indefinitely. I mean, what are we on here? 7 months, 8 months of March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 8 months. So when does that end? I think we need to be doing this nationwide, questioning these governors who are shutting stuff down. Last night on Jimmy and Joanne Moriarty, Unseen Libya, we had a special guest. We had Shelley Luther, the Texas business owner, retired school teacher and mom, who just decided that she wasn't down with the shutdown, and she had to open her salon so that the people working there could feed their families. And look, flagship retail available, it's closed. I don't know what all these people are waiting for. We're here on Fifth Ave. What is that they're waiting to get into? Sandro sample sale? All those people are waiting for a sample sale? I guess. But Shelley Luther got thrown in jail over opening her business. And that Obama-appointed judge was a total jerk to her. But now she's gaining national and even international attention as she runs for Texas State Senate. She seemed like a really just all-around excellent person, political candidate, strong woman, standing up for her business, standing up for her employees, her family. Now, this is the kind of people we need in government. Not people like Andrew Cuomo who are just trying to figure out how to manipulate the law so that they can send money to unions that are going to construct stuff at the Javits Center that never gets used. No one's questioning that. See, right now, if anybody were to investigate that, that dude's defense is just, nobody knew. Millions of people were going to die. They've got everybody so distracted with it being, Donald Trump's fault, according to them, that it's just not even on the table that it's going to be questioned or that there'll be any kind of scrutiny over how much money was wasted and how many resources were wasted by bringing that boat over, building all that crap in the Javits Center. I mean, I guarantee that was a way to keep the union jobs going during a time when people weren't working. And that keeps the union coffers full, insurance, health insurance for the union people and everything. I mean, I've been in unions. I was in the cinematographer's union. I didn't really like it. I recognized I appreciated the purpose of unions when we did a commercial in Mexico. And I had wisely made a deal with the Mexican producers that my crew was going to go by union rules and U.S. rules and everything, and went into crazy overtime. The AC on that shoot loves me to this day, says that one shoot paid for his family vacation because we went into so much overtime. And the Mexican crew is not protected by a union. There's just nothing at all like that in Mexico. So those guys were just working 25, 26 hours, literally, no sleep. I mean, some people were sleeping in between takes on set. But, we didn't have a union to protect us. But because this producer was honest, which is rare, no matter what country you're in, he paid us and he stuck by the deal. But that caused me to realize, wow, this is why we have unions, because otherwise everybody on every movie set everywhere would just be working 25, 26 hours, and you'd be like, oh, thank you, producer, for giving us a job. We'll work ourselves to death for 1 day's pay. I mean, that's really like 3 days of work in one 24-hour period if you think about it. I saw an article about a Tesla Model Y driving down the highway yesterday and the roof flew off. That is not good. You do not want that. The person was driving home from the Tesla dealership and the roof flew off. Now, I don't know if people saw that, but there are some tiny little kids that should be in school, and then that dude smoking weed. Kids should be in school right now. I don't know what the hell Andrew Cuomo thinks he's doing, who he thinks he's helping by shutting these schools down. You also got to keep in mind, if you haven't been watching John Cullen Investigates, you should on Fridays on Patreon and Subscribestar. John's been presenting information from the CDC. They keep talking about hotspots in New York, cases based on testing. They keep pushing the testing. Spiro, people know Spiro, right? What's his last name? I can never pronounce it properly and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not going to risk slaughtering it. But Spiro just did a great video where he's talking about the PCR test. Kerry Mullins, is that the doctor's name who invented it, who won a Nobel Prize for that? Mullins goes into great detail about how the test can fail. And okay, so I got a call here I got to take. I'll chat with everybody later. Thanks. Hey, Lee. Good.